Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You are watching the Joe Soro Experiment. I am your host, Joe Soro. Yes, we don't wait anymore. Well, it's 11:10. We kind of had to wait 10 minutes. Usually I like to get on around 11. But I want to thank everyone for being here. Some of you have come through from the Lakers Fast Break. Thank you for joining. And then, of course, those who weren't on a Lakers Fast Break, welcome for the first time this evening in our post-game Laker and Dodger evening. And I'll do some repeating of the Lakers in case some of you who are joining didn't watch Lakers Fast Break. And then we'll talk a little bit of Dodgers, obviously. Aaron, I knew you were coming, man. I knew you were coming. We're going to get to the Dodgers in a minute here. The reason why the Lakers have taken precedent on the show a little bit more is because they had a little bit more, I'd say, there's more of an important setup here for the basketball season right now since it's the end of the season. So I'll get into the Lakers and then we'll get into the Dodgers shortly after that. So the Lakers played the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets pretty much sat everyone that mattered tonight, which gave the Lakers the opportunity to play some good ball because Houston the young guys looked like they were wanting to win this game. But the Lakers played a little bit better. Actually, I wouldn't say a little bit better, just better. And ended up winning the game 140 to 109. Luka had an amazing game, dropped 39. LeBron looked really good up until the third quarter. Looked like he might have tweaked something in his groin, but apparently J.J. Redick said that there wasn't anything serious there. So thank God for that. And of course, AR-15 had a good game. Dropped 23, played 33 minutes, hit half his threes, and I thought I enjoyed Dorian Finney-Smith's game tonight very, very much. He hit 6 threes today, playing 30 minutes. When he makes those shots, man, does this team change? If DFS is hitting at least 3 threes in a game, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to beat the LA Lakers in the playoffs. That is a huge piece because we know what Luka's going to do. We know what LeBron is going to do. We know what AR is going to do. But if DFS is hitting that shot, and of course, Rui, when he has enough opportunities, does really shoot well. But even if he's off, somebody just needs to pick up the slack beyond that. And looking at what this will likely be in terms of the lineup, you're going to look at a starting lineup of Rui, LeBron, Jackson Hayes, Luka, and Austin Reeves to start the playoffs, and then you'll have DFS, Jared Vanderbilt, and then you'll throw in maybe a Jordan Goodwin there every now and then. I don't think they're going to have really, I think Dalton Connect isn't going to see too much time. You're not going to see Shake Milton have too much time. Gabe Vincent, obviously, is going to be a guy that's going to be in there too. So there might be a chance where we might not originally. I originally thought it's probably going to be a 7-man rotation. It very well could be an 8 to 9 if it makes sense. But we'll have to wait and see in 9 days. In 9 days, guys, this team's going to have a week plus to rest. And this is the part where you want rest. You earned the third spot. You won 50 games. It's time now to really, really, really get yourself set for what's coming. And what's coming is either going to be likely the Golden State Warriors or the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I just think that I still think the Golden State Warriors is the team that I prefer in the first round for travel purposes and the fact that the Golden State Warriors don't really have that dog like Anthony Edwards in Minnesota. They don't have to deal with anyone like that in a 7-game series. The Golden State Warriors would have to shoot lights out for 4 games out of the 7. I don't believe they have that capability. They could do it, but I don't believe they will. And if the Lakers can get it done in 5, that would be ideal, more rest. But even if they go 6, at least they're only taking hour flights to San Francisco a couple times. And then, of course, doing what they do in LA. So that's how I'm looking at that right now. But as far as tonight was concerned, a little bit more detail on tonight. We saw something also again, and Gerald and I have talked about this, and we continue to talk about it. Cam Whitmore had carte blanche today because no one else played. No real starter or no real players really played today for the Rockets. Van Fleet was out. Steven Adams was out. Pretty much the entire team was out. But Cam Whitmore dropped 34 points, shot 13 of 19, hit 7 3-pointers. The guy was an absolute, and the athleticism coming from this guy is amazing. Just he's not he's not right in his mind, but when you have those kind of skills, sometimes it takes a minute for these guys to mature. And I think he would have probably been okay at some point with LeBron and the Lucas and all those guys and JJ Redick's kind of calming him down a little bit. Lakers really blew this one. They should have gotten Cam Whitmore. They would have had they would have had a freakish athlete that could come off the bench, maybe even start. But it is what it is. I'm not upset. Lakers still did a lot more good than bad in the last year, and props to them. But today was a great day in that the Lakers don't have to worry about Sunday. They don't have to worry about really anything, in my view. They are in a really, really good spot, and they're going to have some time to really, really get themselves together here for a possible run that we have to be positive about. I have to think that there's a chance that they can win it, and they do have a chance. It's not just me thinking it, or guys like Gerald or Sean or anybody that's a Laker fan. I think there's a chance, and if the Celtics are there in the end, by the way, Celtics in 5, I think the fact that you might have a LeBron Curry series again in the first round, and then to end it with the Celtics and Lakers, I think it'd be only fitting. The Celtics are a better version and better talented version of the Golden State Warriors. If they are hitting their shots, and this is for anybody, but especially them, if they're hitting their shots, they're likely going to repeat. But I'd like to think an upset Luka from last year, and a healthy LeBron James, I have to wait for that one. I mean, you're going to believe there's going to be bias here, right? One way or the other, you're going to believe there's bias. But seriously, I've asked you all this before. Replace LeBron with take Kyrie Irving and put LeBron on that Dallas team last year. Does Dallas lose that finals? We'll never know, but I don't know. I just don't know where to go with that. And but it's going to be a fun ride, guys. And I think what you want to look at in this setup is, other than LeBron James, whose time is running out, no matter how much more he plays, you have to understand that this team is not even tipping the iceberg. We have Luka Doncic, and he just turned 26. This is the beginning of something else. This is the beginning of the next era. If they're able to sneak in a title, maybe 2 before LeBron leaves, so be it. But this is more about now the first steps of getting this team to being one of the best teams in the NBA from the beginning. No more of this, will they do this? Will they do that? Who's going to come here? What kind of deal does Rob have to make? There's going to be a point here, maybe even starting this summer, where the Lakers are going to start assembling a championship team led by Luka Doncic and his young cohorts, guys like DFS, guys like Austin Reeves. That is what's in store here for the future. And that part is something that I also think about. It's not just about this year. Luka's only been a Laker for 2 months. 2 months and some change. 2 months and 11 days, I think. So maybe less than that, I think 10 days. Sorry. Yeah, so if the Lakers don't win a championship this year, the only thing I'm crossing my fingers on is that the Celtics don't win. If the Lakers don't make it and the Celtics don't win it, it's going to be actually a winning season for me in the end. It's going to be a positive, a little bit of a positive. It still hurts, but it'll be a little bit of a positive, because now I feel like that change will happen, because the Celtics just got sold to their new owner. And from the looks of a lot of these new owners that are coming in, as soon as they come in, they start screwing things up. Ishbia out in Phoenix, what those numbnuts, the Adelsons did in Dallas. So a lot of these guys that are buying these teams have so much money and have so much power. Who knows what's going to happen in Boston? Are they going to start dropping guys to save, the luxury tax? Who knows? I think it's not going to look good. We do know this, even though we've criticized Genie a lot. Jeannie is about winning, and she'll do anything to win. Props to Jeannie for what she's done with Rob, and they deserve it even after all the BS that I've said their way. You got to give them props. Again, going back to that, hey, we can criticize them when they're doing bad, and then you prop them up when they do well. That's how life works. Doesn't mean I hate them, although I did say some things that were probably personal sounding. But again, sometimes emotions can get in the way, every now and then. But you go back and you take falsehoods on that and say, look, I made a mistake and I apologize and hope to be forgiven. Let's see. Seeing a lot of Celtics in 5 here. Celtics in 5. You're like the first Celtic guy that I can remember there, Celtics in 5. I'll get to you in a minute here. I'm going to start going down the line with the comments. I'm assuming, Joker, you're laughing at my comment from before. Let's see here. Craig, how you doing, bud? Sorry I couldn't make it to the playback today. I was on the phone for almost 3 hours, and then I went to the LFB playback. But we'll be back tomorrow. He's finishing up the Lakers. Let's see how you doing, man. So good to see you, Search. Let's see, he's putting up his makeup. See, I'm coming like a. Let's see, where are we here? Let me get to your guys' comments here. 1 second. Let me go down. Fameless. We own the Rockets. Let's us rest for the Blazers game. Yeah, they're resting. Fameless. They're resting, and they should rest. Doing great, bro. Proud. Okay, that's not me. LeBron proves why he's the GOAT. LeBron is. You guys, come on. We talked about this on LFB. I know you might not have been on there. MJ's not a fraud. Come on. If you want to call LeBron the GOAT, that's your choice. But come on. MJ's not a fraud, okay? He's number one of all time for a lot of people. Let's see. Search. If we get Kleber back, that would be dope, but not sure. I don't know. There hasn't been any news right now of Kleber coming back. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. I would rather face the Wolves than G. So, Jay, I understand that you're probably worried about Curry going Curry and Pods going Pods, but I think there's a better chance of Anthony Edwards being a problem in a 7-game series than it is Steph Curry and Podziemski. I just don't. There's a bigger threat with them, and there's a bigger threat with DiVincenzo going nuts in a series and not stopping, and then Naz Reid could be a problem too. So I just think Golden State would be a better matchup, and I think it would be better in terms of overall labor intensiveness. Jordan could never do what LeBron is doing. You're right. You could never do what LeBron is doing. He could do it better, usually. I saw Jordan play. Jordan could do anything LeBron can do. He just isn't as big as LeBron. Search and destroy. Okay. Jeff. What's up, man? Let's see. Wolves thug ball is not going to work against the Lakers, though. Either way, I have a hard time seeing them lose to either one. But I would prefer not to fly back to Minnesota twice. That's the only thing I'm hoping that they don't do. If you said to me, hey, they could sweep them in the first round, where they're only taking one trip there, cool. Or they get it done in 5, okay. Then I'll roll with that. Lakers, Celtics in 5. Well, we're going to have to wait a few months to see that Celtics in 5. Oh, my God. You beat me, great. MJ was a criminal, illegal gambling involvement. Okay, there's no proof of that, by the way. There was no illegal gambling. If you have proof, bring it and we'll talk about it. Come to the finals, Celtics in 5. We own Luka. No, you don't own anything with Luka. Sorry. Not trying to beat you, bro. Oh, boy. Porter's World. You're my guy, too, Porters. You're my guy. Jay, I can't handle Aussies. Look, man, I'm going to tell you guys this. I've said this before. Aussies, I know that the government is soft, but the people there aren't. The people there are not soft. There has been some kinship with the Aussies my entire adult life. I don't know what it is, but the Aussies and myself always click. It didn't matter whether it was on a show here or whether I met him at a bar and hanging out with friends, Aussies and I click like freaking like a smooth oiled up glove, man. So props to the Aussies, man. They're the best. Celtics in 5. We are not the Warriors. We have Kristaps, Tatum, Brown, and 2 all defensive guards. Yeah. You are a better version of the Golden State Warriors, and what I mean by that is the Golden State Warriors' philosophy on how to win games is the same as the Boston Celtics, which a lot of the teams in the NBA kind of have the same philosophy. But that what the Warriors were with Steph Curry in their championship years is what the Celtics are and how they win. They got to play good defense and hit those long balls. That's how they win. Who's guarding Kristaps? Well, here's my question to that. How do we know Kristaps is going to be available by the finals? Think about that for a second before you ask that question. You might want to wait. Wait till that happens before you ask that question, because Kristaps isn't usually available. Only Search can handle the Aussies. Celtics are not the Warriors. We match up with the Lakers better than anyone. Brown and Luka, Tatum. Actually, that's not true. Celtics in 5. The Lakers without Luka actually whooped them pretty good in Game 1. Game 2 in Boston, Luka brought them back from a huge deficit without LeBron James, and the Lakers were a few shots away from tying that game. So I would wait on that. I know it's still a regular season game, but I would wait on that. I'll just wait. Just wait. We're gonna win again. Okay, you got to come with something else. You keep saying the same thing. Celtics at 5. Bring something else to the table. Kristaps is back. Okay, you keep saying the same thing, man. Why are you putting Kristaps in this? If you're talking about Jaylen Brown, and you're talking about Tatum being badasses, that'd be one thing. But Kristaps is not their guy. That's like their 5th option. Don't tell Santa Cruz. Welcome. I don't think this is the first time you've been on here. Random question. Do you think Jokic's prime is being wasted in Denver? No, I don't think so. I think we forget that winning a championship is extremely difficult. Jokic has already won a championship in Denver. There is no waste. Dirk Nowitzki won one championship as the man in Dallas. Who's another one that won one championship? I don't know if you want to count Kawhi in 2019, but he won 2. Who else has won one with one team? I have to remember that as we're talking. No, it's not a waste. This is Jokic's team. It's his franchise. He's the greatest Nugget of all time, and that's including against Carmelo Anthony, Alex English, Dan Issel, Kiki Vandeweghe. Like, we're without a doubt number one. He's won a championship. He's won MVPs. He's won Finals MVPs. He's not wasted there. The question now for Jokic will be, does he want to play with Luka after the 2027 season? The 2027 season, the closure of that season allows him the option to decline his player option, which would make him a free agent, should he not extend the contract. If he plays out until 2027, which is in 2 seasons, and wants to test the market, that would be an interesting July 1 discussion. It would be very interesting July 1 discussion. I think free agency would be very, very exciting should he do that. And I believe that if he did do that, I don't know if he will, but if he did, I am in the assumption that would be LeBron's last season, 2027. I could see him extend another year, but that would be his last season. And then if Jokic opts out and becomes a free agent in 2027, I feel very, very comfortable in seeing Jokic come play with Luka in LA that summer. Something that to think about. That would be the only way that the Lakers would likely be able to get Jokic, because I think this Luka thing was a once in a $1 billion year, whatever chance. I don't think it's going to happen again. Denver's not going to trade him for a couple of matches and a stick of gum. There's just no way. There's no way it's going to happen again. If it did happen again, I would never talk basketball again. I'll be honest. I don't think I would ever talk basketball again. Let's see here. Great question, by the way, Santa Cruz. Thank you so much. Let's see. Aaron, I'll get to Tommy Tanks here in a minute, man. It was so cool. It was so cool. I was sitting there after Yamamoto finished his 6th inning, and I'm like, guys, get the boy, get Yoshi, get him his win here, man. This game was so good. It was so good. Just get one run here to give him a shot at winning the game. And Tommy Tanks comes up with Freeman and Teo on the bases and takes it out. And that wasn't a bad pitch, by the way, by Boyd. That was not a bad pitch. That looked like a slider low in. And man, Tommy guessed right. It looked like he guessed right and took that sucker out. So props to Tommy Tanks. Right now is the MVP of the Dodgers and the MVP maybe of the league after what, 2 weeks? I don't think he's going to win the MVP, but he is the MVP of the team right now. So props to Tommy Tanks, man. You really, really hooked it up tonight. And the team in general, man. The freaking bullpen is something else, man. Tanner Scott, Kirby went in there and just dealt the business, man. So props to everyone, man. It's such an exciting year, man. Such an exciting year for Dodger baseball. Looking forward to watching every game. I've watched every game, even the spring training every game that was televised. I was able to watch in spring training, and I'm looking forward to watching. What is it now? We're 15 games in, so we still got another 147 to go. So I'm looking forward to it. It's like nothing, man. Enjoying it every day. Let's see. Zach, just wanted to say, keep it up, Joe. You're doing amazing. Zachary, you are the man. And you're getting bigger and bigger every day talking to us rascals. So very proud of you for sticking in there. You're starting to get hardened. Not James Harden, like regular Harden. You're starting to get hardened. And I promise you, it's going to benefit you in the future. Chris, the art director, my man. Lakers, Dodgers for life. Couldn't have said it better. Never, ever, ever. Till the day we die, Lakers and Dodgers. Mark, always be my brother. Always. You too, sports baby. Giannis. Ooh. YYC Giannis. What would Giannis have to do? Let me pull something up here real quick now that you brought it up. Let's see what Giannis' situation is. I think his contract's even longer, though. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. You know what? YYC? Giannis' contract ends the same year. Well, his contract at the end of 2027, he has the same option Jokic has. He can decline the 2028 year and become a free agent in 2027. Oh, now we have a couple things to talk about. I'll be honest. I'm not going to be frank. I'll be honest. I think if both did that, I think that might be one of the greatest free agent summers of all time. Because I would bet my house that one of those guys will pick the Lakers, especially with LeBron coming off the books. Even if LeBron wanted to play beyond 2027, if the Lakers know that they have a chance at getting Jokic and Giannis, because they know they're going to opt out and test free agency, there's no way LeBron's coming back after 2027. They're going to want to go get one of those guys and extend this sucker. But Jokic would play better with Luka than Giannis, in my view. They'd still, Giannis and Luka could still win a championship together, but Jokic is, in my view, better to play with Luka than Giannis. That's just, kind of. I feel like that's kind of common sense. Let's see, sports maybe after his finals win in the front office, not surrounding right players right around him is kind of a waste of his D. Indeed, Pacers in 5 in the first round. We'll have to wait and see for that, my friend. Porter's World. I'm feeling good about our chances this year, man. Yeah, I do too, Porter. I there's nothing but positive to feel here, honestly. Even if they don't win it all, again, as long as the Celtics don't win, I think it would end up being still a positive year, considering where they were. Let's see. Aaron, I'll get back to all your comments here when I start talking Dodgers shortly. Gary A. What's up, Joseph? Been a while, sir. Yeah, Gary, good to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. Jokic will come. Luka, Giannis, Jokic, not Giannis. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to play out, man. I really don't. But it's a good problem to have if both are available. We're going to have to wait a couple of years. Maybe the Lakers can get lucky and win a championship between now and then to make it fun for what could come next. So that's how I'm looking at that. I'm not really too concerned about really how the Lakers end up around that time. I feel very comfortable that the Lakers will find another guy one way or the other, because they always do. They always find the other guy. Welcome, Gary A. See you on the other channels. Bless. Okay, so let's segue to the Dodgers, and I'm going to go back up here and get Aaron some props here on his posts. A few runs in a game over. Our bullpen is deadly. Where's the other one that you had here, Aaron? 1 second. Where was it? Aaron. So we talked about Tommy Tanks being the MVP. We talk about, so here's the comparison I have with Tommy Tanks. Tommy Tanks, and I know it's hard to compare baseball players with basketball players. It is difficult. But if I had to put a comparison to Tommy, like with a player with the Lakers, he's the Austin Reeves of the Dodgers. He's that guy that just continues to marvel with, and the fact that he actually got extended this offseason and the money is fair, in my view, he's already played over his contract. And when you have a player like that on championship contenders, that is actually those are the little things that make a team a champion. When you can actually get a guy that performs like a high-end top 5 player in the league and gets and does it for the pay for a guy that's making that's really kind of maybe in the top 30 or top 40. That is a huge benefit. Huge benefit. He's killing it. He's elite at second base. He's a timely hitter. He has the wheels to run. He's a smart base runner. He can hit for power on either side of the plate. It's hard to say what was the best acquisition for Andrew Friedman. You're sitting there, you're like, well, Ohtani was number one. That's obvious, right? That's obvious it's number one. You get the greatest player, arguably, that's ever played baseball. But to me, that's an easy pickup in a lot of ways. That's a common sense pickup. It's Ohtani. You go get him if you have the opportunity, right? But this was a sneaky pick. This was something where you did it halfway through the season and you took a risk a little bit because Tommy had a messed up wrist, right? He was recovering from surgery on his wrist. You didn't know what was going to happen. You get Teo. Teo's the other guy, right? And Conforto right now is looking like the other guy as well. By the way, I think it was Conforto that was on base, not Teo. I think it was. I'm confused. I forgot. I was too busy screaming when Tommy hit the homer. But I mean, getting Teo, getting Tommy, getting Ohtani, signing Yamamoto. I mean, it's hard to pick. Imagine that. It's a bag of riches. It's a bag of gold, nonstop. Which gold plate is better? And it's just really nice because you had Freddie come back from a 9-game absence, and it was really, really cool finally hearing him say, my ankle actually feels better than it did even at the beginning of the year. He finally was able to rehab it to the point where he's not worried about it. They actually said it was better than when it's better now than it was even before he injured it. So props to the medical staff, the Dodgers staff. Props to Freddie for being the freaking Iron Man that he is. Very happy to have him back. So he's going to get acclimated here a little bit and probably get back to being who he is here in a few games. But there's Tommy Tanks picking up the slack. Even Ohtani striking out here and there. Mookie Betts, not going for 0 for 4. Whenever you have those guys doing that, that's when the Teos, that's when the Tommies, and props to Pages again. He kind of has broken through a little bit the last few games. I tried not to be too hard on Pages. I was a little upset about some of his blunders, but again, you have to understand, guys, he's not a center fielder. He's not a center fielder. That's not his position. He's playing out of position. He's a corner guy. He's not a middle guy. So it's nice that he was able to not turn into James Outman in this situation. He actually started coming back a little bit, doing the things that he's supposed to do, hitting a couple homers, making some good catches deep at close to the warning tracks and in the warning tracks tonight. So a lot of Dodgers fans out there sometimes get a little bit of misery towards the players. And baseball is a very hard sport, guys. Sometimes people get into slumps. Sometimes they come out the gate in a slump. You gotta be patient. Let this thing develop. Let's see here. I guess we're gonna have to go back to basketball. Pale Fox, what's up, brother? Joe Soro, Luka Doncic will bring the finals trophy back to LA this year, like I told you on your other channel before Luka. Pale, I mean, if that happens this year, if you think the Luka legacy that's already here, if you think it's big now, oh my God, the commercials, all that stuff about him losing money in his Supermax, which, by the way, guys, he has an option to do a 2+1 this summer, and then after the 2 years, he can extend for 5 years at $413. So when you extrapolate that and base it off of what he would have taken in Dallas had they not the Supermax in Dallas, had they not traded him, he actually makes more gross money waiting a couple of years with LA in the long run. Now the taxes are going to be less and make less, obviously, because the state tax is 13%, 13 plus something point something, and obviously in Texas doesn't have a state tax, but they have a lot of property tax stuff too. There's ways where they can that kind of gets eaten up a little bit too in other areas. People forget that too. A lot of huge property tax in the state of Texas. But if he wins this year, I mean, if you thought the endorsements were coming or are already there, you haven't seen any. You're going to see Luka everywhere, and they will anoint Luka a god in LA. And LeBron in this, the GOAT discussion gets even more interesting because he's going to play a big part in this, guys. This isn't going to be anyone carrying anyone. This is going to be the Luka and LeBron show with a little bit of Austin Reeves and the rest of the crew. It's going to be like Shaq and Kobe, though equally ones going after a championship. And we're all going to be here to watch it, and I'm looking forward to it. Tommy, 2 bombs was a phenomenal steal. Be honest steal, man. That was highway robbery, freeway robbery, bank robbery. That was every robbery you can think of. Plus, Tommy being around these guys enhanced his ability on top of it. How can it not? It all fit perfectly for everyone. I think that's why Tommy took the extension he did this offseason. He knew he can build something here. He can become an all-star. Tommy's going to be an all-star. He won't win MVP, but he will be an all-star. And the Dodgers might have 5 or 6 all-stars at the very least going into July. Bless up to you, Serge. Thank you for being here, bud. Thank you. Gary A., I haven't been this excited since 2010 over the Lakers. I was excited in 2020, Gary. I really was. 2020, the Dodgers, when baseball came back, I think in July, and their winning percentage at the end of 60 games was 70%. They were the best team that year, just like they were last year, record-wise and in general. And they went on a run, ended up winning the championship, and then the Lakers won the championship not a couple weeks later. 2020 was a hell of a year. I know there were bubble championships or Texas championships, Texas Bowl championships, but everybody played by the same rules, and there have been plenty of shortened seasons in sports. You've had the Washington Redskins in '82. You had the The Washington Redskins in 82, when they won the Super Bowl, you had the New York Giants in 87 winning the Super Bowl. You had the San Antonio Spurs in 1999 when they won the NBA championship. You had the Miami Heat winning in 2012 when they had when they were limited to 66 games due to the lockout. That was not the first time games were shortened. The 1981 Dodgers won a World Series with a shortened season. So everybody played by the same rules. If you don't want to count those championships, that's on you. But you're going to look like a chump in the argument. And I guarantee you, if it was your team that won, you wouldn't have said anything and would have counted. And you all know it deep down. So you're never going to convince me otherwise. The whole Dodger bullpen can be all-stars. They are all-stars to me. You have Vesia, you have Yates, you already wrote it. How about Dreyer, man? Jack Dreyer. We got to throw in Jack in there, man. Garcia's been pitching well too. Got to give him some props. But my God, man, the Dodgers just they have guys that we weren't even considering. We weren't even thinking about, on top of the fact that you have a Vesia, a Yates, a Trident, and a Scott. And you don't even have Bazooka here yet. Bazooka's coming in July. What the hell's going to happen then? And he's a high leverage guy too. So Dodgers are in great shape, man. They are in such great shape. Again, I'm looking forward to watching this run, man. This could be unprecedented. They don't have to have the all-time wins record, in my view. Just they're going to win 100 games. I'm sure of that, no matter what. But win the championship. Win the championship, win back-to-back World Series championships, and you are then officially a dynasty. You are officially a dynasty. It's 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I'm sorry, 25. So that's 6 seasons. You win 3 championships. That's a dynasty. Yeah, we forgot about Kopech and Phillips. That's how good this pitching staff's going to be. How good this bullpen's going to be. We forgot to talk about Kopech, who drops heat. I'm talking 102, and Phillips. What has Phillips done the last 3 years? My God, just can't wait. Can't wait for this season to continue to develop. I want to enjoy everything. Plan is to get to at least one of the Yankee games in about a month and change, possibly 2, possibly 3. I'm still planning it right now. So, Jeff, if you're still listening, get yourself ready, man. Yankee weekend, we're going to probably be there the entire weekend. Let's see here. Gary, I don't want to discredit 20, but it just doesn't hit the same without the parade and all. Guys, I've been to parades. I'm going to throw in some bad stuff here, but I didn't like it. The last one I was at was the 2001 NBA championship the Lakers had. A lot of dirt balls at these parades. I didn't like some of the people that were there. It was so bad towards the end when guys probably got really drunk. They were throwing bottles in the air. Dude, there was kids everywhere. There's people everywhere. And you have these beer bottles being thrown in the air. It was so bad that Lawrence Tanter had to get on the mic, and he literally said this. He goes, "Stop this madness," in that deep voice of his. He's like, "Stop this madness." You almost thought you were in a movie, the way he said it. And it sort of stopped, but you had a bunch of freaking adults that were just acting like complete idiots. That was kind of a bad taste for me in terms of the parade. I kind of swore off parades at that point. But Dodgers got their parade. Lakers, if they can win it this year, can get their parade as well. We'll see. I don't really care about the parades. I only care about banners. Banners. That is cool because you get to go to a game, be all clean and nice, and actually go watch how things get dropped down in the rafters. I think that's kind of fun. Celtics in 5. Shohei got carried to a title. Yeah, okay, Celtics in 5. Whatever you say. I trade 2020 for Kobe and Gigi back. I would do that. I would trade back the win in 2010 to get Kobe and Gigi back. Mm-hmm. Without even thinking. They should still be here. Kills me every day. Which was essentially 103. You rounded up there, Aaron? We'll say it's 103. I don't know how you hit a 103-mile-an-hour pitch with movement. Lifo Bindi, nice to meet you, brother. By the way, Shohei got carried to a title. He did not hit anything clutch. He got carried by Freeman. Okay. So when Shohei got that double in game one and ended up tying the game, and then that helped them go in the extra innings. How was he not a part of that? Did you watch the World Series? How about the fact that the Dodgers had the best record in the league and he was the MVP? Oh, and the fact that he actually tore his shoulder up in game two. What did you want him to do? What did you want him to do? What do you mean carried? What does carried mean? You're gonna have to make that make sense because you sound like a moron. He actually tore his labrum. So what did you want him to do? What did you want him to do in game 3, 4, and 5? Did you want him to hit home runs? What about everything else? Yeah, what about what he did in game 1? If he doesn't hit that double, they don't tie the game, they lose 2-1. I'm sensing that you're not talking anymore. Where'd you go? Oh, what about when the Padres were up 3-0 in game 1 of the NLDS and he tied it up? What happens if Shohei does not hit that 3-run homer? That means the Padres win the first 2 games in LA. Now what? Now what are you going to say? Did you watch any of these games? A lot of silence. So you just came here with a stupid name and a stupid picture. Well, I don't even know what the hell that is. LeBron with samurai head. I don't know what that is. Bale Fox, just the presence of Shohei is enough to inspire his teammates. He could be one-legged. So another part of the game so they brought in Nestor in game 1 because Nestor has pitched well against Shohei. Nestor comes in the game, gets Shohei out in 1 pitch, right? What happened after that pitch, what happened after that out was the calamity that ended up being the demise of the Yankees. So because of the way that turned out, because a lot of it has to do with Verdugo throwing the ball from the stands. But point is, he was the catalyst in that whole setup where they walked Mookie to go to Freeman. Before Freeman got to the plate, him and Shohei, and you can go see the footage. Freeman talked about it. He went and spoke with Shohei and said something about what Nestor did that tipped him off. The reason why Freeman hit that ball out so cleanly and so quickly was because he knew what was coming based off what Shohei told him. I'm trying to figure out where does the brain work when you talk stupid like that? It's got to be trolling. Like, what kind of life is this that you live? I don't get it. Let's see. Shohei isn't impressive. How come LeBron gets hate for joining a super team, but it's okay when Shohei does it? Baseball and basketball are 2 different things. And by the way, I don't give a shit about what anyone says about LeBron going to Miami in 2010. They would have found something else to be pissed off about. It doesn't matter. Don't let it bother you. You can't. When you go to a team and you're the MVP, you're the MVP. All the steals and home runs meant nothing. Yeah, I mean the guy was 50-50 for the first time in league history. But that doesn't mean anything. He got carried to a title. Okay, all right. Many star players in baseball had bad World Series. Well, the point too is a superstar in baseball can only be involved in the game 4, maybe 5 times during the game as a hitter. That's it's different than basketball. A basketball player, a football player, a hockey player can dictate the offense, the defense. Well, maybe if you're a two-way player on in football, but point is, Tom Brady is in every play. LeBron is in every play. Ovechkin is in every play. Shohei is not in every at bat. It's completely different games. So the fact that he was able to do what he did, being only available for 4 or 5 at bats, you guys, I mean, do I really have to like paint this for you? Do I have to paint this by numbers so you can understand? Do I need to learn another language to teach you? Seriously, grow a brain. Without his 50-50 season, the team likely is a wild card team at best, especially with all the injuries. Joe, Celtics in 5. LeBron, MJ fraud. Life Obinia, all damn guys, all same guy. Joe, he's just changing his name. That's a good. That's you're probably right, SB. Aaron, pitching staff was completely dismantled. Yeah, I don't know how the hell they won the World Series with what going in there. They only had really one pitcher. That was Flaherty. Hernan, thanks, man. You're the man too, Hernan. Joe, what did you have for dinner? I had In-N-Out Burger. My kids wanted In-N-Out Burger, so I had to submit to it. But it's my last time eating fast food for a while. Padres fan, Joe. Padre fan. Oh, they're Padre fans. Why are you hiding, man? Freeman took finals MVP. Shohei is a fraud. It's World Series, dumbass, not finals MVP. Shohei, best player, but didn't get finals MVP. Yeah, okay, whatever. It's called the World Series MVP, not finals MVP. I'm in my prime, Hernan. I actually am in my prime. When you get to my age, a lot of times what happens is you gain experience, but you lose the juice because either that, people that I know, not a lot, a few people that I know, and then people around those people. What happens is you have the knowledge, you have the real life experience, but then you lose the juice. You lose the enthusiasm. You lose the testosterone. You lose all those things that you had before you were smart and were worldly. I'm worldly, and I still have the juice. And it's not manufactured either. I know someday I'm going to have to, figure out how to replenish it. But as of right now, I'm at my peak. I'm at my prime right now. Let's see, Aaron. He didn't get Finals MVP because comparing Freeman and Ohtani is like comparing diamonds. Yeah, one's a 4-carat. What do they call those? Something cut. I forgot what it was. Princess cut. One's a princess cut. The other is just a rock. Shohei is not good. He doesn't win on stacked Angels team. Carry them to victory. He had to join a super team and didn't even get World Series MVP. Stacked Angels team. When were the Angels stacked? With what? Piles of shit? Oh man, that's funny. Pujols was 5 years behind in his prime or ahead of his prime. Mike Trout couldn't get past August to finish the season. What do you consider stacked? They have good food there. Oh man, this is the world we live in. Oh, that's funny. Juan, can you put up? Thanks for putting up my X, by the way. Guys, hit me up on X if you guys ever have any questions. Juan, put up the playback. Guys, I have playback up almost every day. My friend Sports Baby is the engineer there. You guys want to watch Dodger games anytime? Sometimes we watch other games too. Go ahead and come by and enjoy the festivities. Sometimes I'm there. This depends on where I'm at. Most of the time I'm there. talking, and then if not, I'll usually drop a line. Lympho Mindy, I'm done with you, dude. I'm not gonna talk to you really anymore. You should probably just leave because you're starting to talk like a moron. Or no, you've been talking like a moron, and it's tired. Turkey Club sandwich stack. I had a turkey club today from Jersey Mike's, and it was good. So what I do is I get the ham, the turkey on white, mayonnaise, mustard, lettuce, tomato, a crap load of jalapenos, and then I usually get the fire chips. I call them fire chips. They're the Flamin' Hots, and then a soda. But like I was saying about the In-N-Out, this is going to be the last of the fast food for a while. I got some things planned on my diet, so wanted to enjoy both here today. But as far as putting a button on the day, I'll start with the Lakers, and then we'll end it with the Dodgers. Calvin Booth. Oh wow, hold on, guys. Calvin Booth's here. Calvin Booth, how do you feel about JJ saying this era is actually tougher than the era Kobe was playing in? Did he say that, Calvin? When did he say that? I don't remember him saying that. I just remember him saying that the 50s and 60s were plumbers and the 90s were watered down. I never heard him say, unless he said it tonight. Let's see here. Gary, he is a troll. He changed his name every time. Yes, he said it in his post game. This is a discussion that happens in every era, in every sport. When Kobe was at his peak, you had Kobe fans saying Kobe had to play with much tougher competition than Michael did in the 90s. You talked about T-Mac, you talked about AI, you talked about Dwayne Wade, Gilbert Arenas when he was right, all those things, and that Michael didn't play with anybody of significance. He only played in terms of perimeter guys that were athletic, Dominique Wilkins and Clyde Drexler. That was like the only guys that were known at that time. But it's an argument that I think is futile. I don't. NBA basketball players have always been what they are. The eras are dictated by what was going on at that time. Magic Johnson was a 6'8", 6'9" basketball player. Larry Bird was a 6'9", 6'10" basketball player. You have 6'9", 6'10" basketball players now. It's not like the NFL where you had offensive linemen in the 50s and 60s that were 230 and 240. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to have guys that are 230, 240 playing in the NFL now on the front at the offensive line. You might get a 290 guy every now and then, but most of them are all 300 pounds. And even those guys that are listed at 290 are not really 290. So football has better athletes, bigger athletes from back in the day. Baseball players is kind of the same thing. You've had short guys, you've had tall guys, you've had lean guys, you've had big guys, you have tall pitchers, short pitchers, short shortstops, tall shortstops, shortstops that can hit 40 home runs, second basemen that can hit 40 home runs. I don't think there's much of a difference in terms of size, although baseball has guys that are throwing more heat than ever before. You have more, every team has a guy that's throwing 3 digits, right? Compared to what they had before. So baseball, yes. Football, yes. Hockey, yes. Even Wayne Gretzky said he'd probably have a hard time playing in this era, right? But in basketball, all these guys, I have no doubt Michael would have adapted and been a great three-point shooter in this era. Same thing with guys like Clyde Drexler. I think guys like David Robinson, guys like Patrick Ewing, they would have probably been really, really good shooting centers because they were really good mid-range shooter guys, especially Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing was automatic around 18, 19 feet. So I don't think I'm gonna. I don't know what that means. I really don't, because I believe that anyone from the past, especially in the last 50 years, I believe could have adapted and played the way they play now. Let's see here. There was only 2 players on the Angels, Trout and Ohtani, you idiot. Get him, Juan. Not in this post game, but someone asked JJ about load managing 2 weeks ago, and he said this area is more challenging to guard on the perimeter and is more tough. I have the 1985 NBA Finals DVD, and the the pace was constant in that era. Things slowed down in the 90s because there was more. It was more emphasized on defense. That's kind of like Pat Riley kind of introduced it right after Detroit was doing it at the end of the 80s. And then that whole decade was the same way, basically, with a few teams that could score. But I don't know necessarily if I don't know. I think basketball players are always going to be basketball players in any era. I just that's what I feel like. The the reason why it's softer now though is these guys do want to play longer, and by load managing and being softer, you're seeing more 15 to 20-year careers, like in between 15 and 20, where Bird only played, I mean, he played even less than this, but in terms of his services in the NBA, he went from 79, which was the 79-80 season, all the way to 1992. So it was only 13 seasons, right? We say only 13, right? Imagine if LeBron retired 9 years ago. Well, that was Larry Bird. Magic played 12 years, and then he had a small stint in 96. So he only played 13 seasons technically. Michael played 15, but he played 13 when he was at the Bulls because he retired for a year and a half, and then played a couple years with Washington. Karl Malone played a while. Stockton played a while. Those are like the only one of the few like elite players that played that long. So imagine John Stockton playing in this era. You know, he would have been good. He would have been really, really good. I have no doubt. Let's see. JJ played in both eras, so maybe qualified to say. He didn't play in the 90s. He played in the 2000s. And he was okay. Wasn't that good. But that doesn't matter. I'm not saying that matters, but I just he played in 2000s. He played in the 2000s. I just don't see how you're not going to convince me that guys like AI and T-Mac and Vince Carter and Kobe Bryant wouldn't have played just as good or better in this era. That's not going to fly for me. Steve Kerr and JJ Redick are robots. Steve Kerr said Jokic is better than Kareem and Hakeem. He's smoking. Yeah, it's his numbers are amazing, and the way the offenses are played in this era are dictate their performances. But I mean, Jokic is a 30-point a game triple double for a season. This is an unprecedented number. This is an unprecedented stat. He's the MVP to me. Sorry to the SGA guys. He's the MVP. This is a historical season. I don't think he's better than Kareem. He could win 8 MVPs. He's still not better than Kareem. He's not better than Wilt. Not better than Shaq. Not better than Hakeem. You can say he's in the top 5. You can say he's the 5th best. I wouldn't argue against that. Sports, baby. Is that the same as Subway Khon? Yeah. But I think their stuff is a little bit better in terms of their quality. Subway's got a lot of bad stuff in the breads, and their meat always looks kind of messed up. Jokic is right there with center greats, and I hope he comes to LA. Yeah, I do too, man. If he opts out in 2027, oh my God, I'm gonna go nuts. Luka Doncic. Why do people automatically put LeBron over Kobe? I think LeBron versus Kobe and LeBron versus Duncan is actually closer than people think. People say LeBron over Kobe just because he's won more MVPs, he's been in the league longer. His stats, people are enamored by the fact that he rebounds more, has more assists, obviously has more points because he's been playing longer. But I my list is Michael 1, Kobe 2. Michael and Kobe, in my view, are the only 2 players I ever saw that didn't have any weaknesses. Calvin Booth. These centers are so weak. Karl Malone, Hakeem, Kareem, David Robinson, all these centers would ruin Jokic and Zubac. Yeah, it would be very hard for Jokic to guard Kareem. I don't think Kareem gets talked about enough about his defense. He was pretty formidable. David Robinson was formidable. Hakeem would be a problem. My God, I don't even know what the hell Jokic would do with Kareem on him. Karl Malone was a beast. He took your head off. He would take your head off, try to take your head off, literally. That's how he played. He wouldn't last in this era just for that. Skill wise, basketball wise, yes, but his physicality, he's 10 times worse than Draymond Green from a physicality standpoint. But hey, Calvin, thank you so much for the comments. All great questions, all great comments, man. Pal, please like, subscribe, and share, guys. This show has just started the last few weeks. We're building from my stint from the Lakers fast break. We talk all sports here. I'm a huge Steeler fan, so we'll be talking a lot of football when the draft hits in a few weeks, and then, of course, when football season starts, and then anything else too. Not we talk lifestyle too every now and then. I'll throw in a couple political things, but not too deep. I don't want this ever to be a political thing because I don't really. That's not really like I talk politics in private, and I'm not really a one side or another guy. I'm just that's not who I am. Zubac isn't in the conversation. Come on, not today, not ever. But hey, props to Zubac. I think he's going to be on the second team. I think he's going to be the second team. I know they're positionless now, but if there was still a position, you would have been the second best center in the league. So that era was actually more athletic, but LeBron and other media members say this era is bigger, stronger, and more athletic. That's funny, right? I don't know if you can say. I don't know if you could look at guys like Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady, Kobe Bryant, AI, David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Dwight Howard, Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal. Dude, Shaquille O'Neal was a freak athlete. David Robinson is a freakish athlete. Hakeem Olajuwon has the greatest footwork I've ever seen on a human being, let alone a big man. How about Dwight Howard? Dwight Howard dunked on a 12-foot rim. Freakish of all freak athletes. I just think we're prisoners of the moment. We're the revisionist history of today, right? It's just people get enamored with what's going on today, and they think everything is better. A lot of people think everything is better athletically today. In basketball, I don't think it is true. I have no doubt that guys in the 80s and 90s, 2000s and 10s could adapt to what's going on right now because they're basketball players. They would practice it more. They practice more of what they do now in this era. And I have no doubt that guys like AI, guys like Tracy McGrady and Kobe would be dropping 7, 8, 9 threes a game the same way and be just as effective. Look at LeBron. Look how he's adapted his game in the last 22 years. He wasn't a shooter back in the day, and he's shooting. I think this might be his best shooting season of his career. So if he can do it, anyone can do it that had Hall of Fame credentials as a perimeter player. Let's see here. Thanks to everyone joining us on the JSOA. Thanks, Joe, for a great show. Yes, thank you, Sports Baby, again, for kind of being my guy behind the scenes. Serge, thank you for modding the show. Again, I these are all guys that volunteered to do this, and I'm grateful to them. No, not Chris Mims. He couldn't adapt to the era then. Where do you rank Duncan on your all-time list? If you go by position, this is based off of what I've seen. I try to judge things by what I see because I can't. It's not fair for me to judge the Wilts and the Russells, right? Although common sense tells you a little bit about those guys. But if you went by position, Tim Duncan is on the first team All NBA as a power forward. So if I had to pick a top five, my top five was, and LeBron is starting to, if not already covered this, and I got a lot of flack for this, by the way. My initial three were always Magic, Bird, and Jordan. And then I had Duncan at the power forward position and I had Kareem at the center position. But there's LeBron being ahead of Bird might be the way to go now. So it would be Magic, Jordan, LeBron, Duncan, and Kareem. Now, if you pick the top five Positionless. I'm probably going Kareem, Magic. Kareem, Magic, LeBron, Kobe, and Duncan. No, not Duncan. Wilt. Wilt, Kareem, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe. All right, did I say that? I think I said it wrong. I had Magic in there somewhere. Let me say that again. Hold on. Magic, Jordan, Magic, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and Kareem. Positionless. I'm all over the place. I think it's getting late. That's why. Joe, what two players average over 30 in the playoffs? Lakers in 5. All time or just like recently? I know Luka. Who's the other one? Was it Jokic? Was it? Are we talking all time? All time. I think there was more than one. Pale, if I'm correct. MJ one. Luka's the other. Are they the only two? You found a stat that Sean and I might have not known. I'll have to check that out. Can you explain the full story behind Kobe quitting game? People don't realize Kobe was fed up and his team was shooting 624 horrendously. You're talking about Game 7 in 2006, Luka? That's good, Pale. Thank you for that stat. I didn't know that. For the entire playoffs, it's only MJ and Luka. That's a hell of a stat, Pale. Thank you for letting me know that. Luka, yeah. So, Game 6, the Lakers were one rebound away from closing that series out. And if you watch before the Tim Thomas three-pointer, you can see Kwame Brown Cadillacing it. That's another term for being lazy. To the ball when it was right in front of, like he was just staring at it. Basically, you can see it on YouTube when you put in Game 6, 2006 of the first round, and he knew that they weren't going to beat Phoenix in that series. I don't agree that he went catatonic in the second half, but they were going to lose that game. He was fed up. He was fed up with everything. Kobe is obsessed with winning, and I get it too. I'm a sore loser sometimes too. Actually, I'm a sore loser all the time, and that's just what it was. He just did not. He just. I don't think he quit. I just think he lost all motivation to do anything because the game was practically over at that point. Kobe had like 24 alone, but nobody showed up, so he kind of got fed up. That's what I remember. Yeah, it's what happened, and I wouldn't say I condoned it. I think Kobe should have still played like he needed to play, even though he was going to lose, because it just looked bad. One of the few times Kobe disappointed. I think that was kind of a disappointing moment on the basketball court. The other was the 2004 finals. I think if Kobe and Shaq were able to muster enough energy to like each other a little bit longer, they would have won that series. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out. For that team to be there was a miracle, though. See, that's the thing is, you cannot lose a series when you're up 3-1. You cannot lose a series in Game 6 when you're just a rebound away and your guy's right there to get it, to finish it. Remember when I talk about, I don't know if you've been on our show on LFB or even here a little bit. I haven't talked about it a lot here, but on LFB, on the Lakers Fast Break. The little things matter, guys. It really does. It's what separates championships and losing a championship is the little things. And that little thing cost the Lakers a win at that time that was very rare. It was so rare for a 7 to take a 2 out at that point. It had happened before. You'd seen an 8 beat a 1. I remember in 2007 the Golden State Warriors beat the Dallas Mavericks. But it would have been such a huge accomplishment, especially with what Kobe did in Game 4 when he hit the game winner at the elbow after being down and getting those miraculous steals and all that. But you win that series. I'm not saying they were going to go win it all, but it would have been a hell of an accomplishment, and it would have been fun to remember that series as a win. Instead, it kind of got drowned out. That last second shot in Game 4 got drowned out because they couldn't close it out in the next 3 games. I just wish Kobe three-peated with Powell. Yeah, man. So much history would have changed. I've brought this up a few times on the Lakers Fast Break. Kobe's career, in terms of the GOAT discussion, is completely different if he wins in 04 and 08. So I'll list what would have happened had he won. And we can discuss this because the Lakers were favored in both of those series. So it wasn't like they were underdogs in those series. They were favored to win both series. 04, they were favored to dominate, actually. 08, the Celtics had won 66 games that year. They were a clear-cut, dominant team that whole year. But the Lakers were still favored that year to win it. If Kobe wins in 04 and he wins in 08, he has 7 championships in 7 tries. He wins 4 out of 5. He three-peats twice. He likely, for sure, has another Finals MVP, maybe a 4th one. But I'll say, if he had done it right in 04, probably Shaq would have won the MVP still. But Kobe has another Finals MVP at the very least. And then the most important part of this is he goes 2-0 against the Celtics in the finals. And the Lakers pass the Celtics in titles in 2009. I think 2009, was it? Because they got 16 and 10. So if they won in 08, yeah. No, they would have passed them in 2010, sorry. Because the Celtics had 16 and then they won 17 in 08. So if the Lakers beat them in 08, they tie them at 16, and then in 2010 they pass them at 17. So imagine that. Imagine that era. Think about that for a second. Kobe between 2000 and 2010 with 2 separate dynasties. I don't consider the Powell-Kobe era a dynasty. If they had won 3 in a row, it would have been. I consider it just the Kobe Powell era. If the Lakers win in 04 and 08, they would have won 7 titles. Kobe would have won 7 titles in 11 seasons with 2 separate dynasties and 2 separate second guys with him. The GOAT discussion changes. The GOAT discussion is there's different variables that are attached to it. It's not only skill set, but it's also accomplishments in conjunction with that skill set. The reason why Michael Jordan is the greatest, besides the fact that he was the most talented basketball player I've ever seen, he accomplished, and he never failed on the largest stage. He may have lost in the playoffs early on in his career and had to go through some hard times with the Pistons when his teams were still formidable, but not yet there yet. But when he was on, when he hit his peak, he really never lost. He just didn't lose. And Shaq and Kobe had a chance to do that, and they didn't. Because Shaq should have won in 95, and he should have won in 04. They were favored. The Orlando Magic were favored in 95. They should have won that series, and Shaq obviously in 04 with the Lakers. Shaq's future, in terms of the greatest of all time at his position, he would have an argument that he's the number 1 center of all time. He would have gone 6-0 in the finals. He would have won 3 championships with 3 teams. And he would have had likely 5 finals MVPs. Winning in that stage makes such a huge difference. It makes such a huge difference. I promise you, if Jordan had lost to the Utah Jazz in 98, he would have been considered the greatest, but there would have been a blemish. And that argument becomes a little bit more fluid. But because he kept Karl Malone, John Stockton, Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, all those guys from the titles and that at that time, it added to the mystique, and rightfully so. Let's see, where are we here? You guys are dropping some really good questions. I was going to head out here, but I gotta talk to you guys. You guys are bringing up good stuff. Kobe is the only player to go back to back without a top 75 player. Imagine three-peat, it would be insane. Yeah, the other thing, Luca, is he was part of two teams that the one in 2002 and the other in 2010, where he had to go through 4 50-win teams during his run. And I think his, I know that stat, it seems like the stat changes all the time. I got to go confirm this. But he leads all players in wins over 50-win teams in the playoffs, above Jordan, above LeBron. Like, he actually doubles LeBron. LeBron, I think, only has 12. For right now, he's going to probably have more than that at the end of this finals run. But Kobe played against he played against top-notch competition, and that matters. That should be talked about more. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it, brother. I try. This is got to do it right, man. Got to do right. I was watching the last of the Game 5 alone in my garage on a small TV. You're not talking about 04 finals, or are you talking about the Dodger game, Aaron? It's crazy how Duncan was one rebound away. Hon, I don't know if that's necessarily true, and I'll tell you why. Because San Antonio were devastated after how 2013 ended, it played a huge motivating factor to come back the following year. I only question, would they have been as motivated and hungry to come back and win that next year the way they did after losing the 2013 finals? I think that played a huge factor in that. Huge factor in the motivation to get back. But if Duncan gets a 6-0 run, his career changes as far as the GOAT conversation. Just that one finals. It's that crazy. Although still, Duncan is a great player, one of the all-time greats, but his talent-wise, I'm never. He's like kind of like Steph. He's never better than LeBron, and Duncan, even in his peak, was never a better player than Kobe Bryant. LeBron on the Cafe Show said Jordan wasn't friends with Kobe till his career was done. He is lying because Kobe called MJ up to advice before facing the Celtics, and MJ said, "Yeah, LeBron really screwed that one up." Unless we don't know something, because I have a friend of mine who was my best friend. He talked to Jordan, and he asked Jordan. He goes, "Who's better, Kobe or LeBron?" And Jordan told him, "Kobe's like me, man. Kobe's like me." And those guys were boys. There's also a story of Kobe eating dinner in Orange County at one of my friends' restaurants. It was called, I think it was Mastro's in Orange County. He told me Kobe was a dick, though. One of the few guys that calls him a dick. I don't know. It's weird because most of the people that I know say that Kobe was awesome. Joe, can you name the last three seeds to win the NBA Finals? Last three. Oh, shit. There was a few in the 70s. Shit. I just read it, too. I know the Celtics were the 4 in 69. Shoot, I don't remember. So Golden State in 2022, Milwaukee in 2021, and Dallas. Okay, I remember Dallas. Yeah, Dallas was the number 3. Yeah. I thought there was one in the 70s. I'm going to check that one out, too. I keep getting conflicting information. Thanks for that, Pale. I appreciate it, brother. Yep, Kobe has beat the most 50-win season. I'm going to get all the stats together, and we'll talk about it on the next show. 2004 finals. Yes, I meant that. Oh, my. I don't know how the hell you... Yeah, that... I stopped watching it in the third quarter. Once they lost Game 4, that was it. I knew they were going to lose Game 5. So recently that these top three teams ended up winning, and then the 6th seed in 95 with the Rockets. So that's good. I got to get this information because I'm tired of not remembering it. But with that, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. We talked a little bit of Lakers. We talked a little bit about the Dodgers. Things will continue to expand here. That's why it's called the Joe Soro experiment. So for the people here that I've talked to for the first time, thank you for being here. Even the ones that are idiots, thank you for being here. I will. We will continue dialoguing as the show progresses. We will continue the experiments. There'll be more production value as things go. I'm still trying to figure out what the show is really going to be. I tried getting a green screen last week, but the green screen sucked, and it didn't really create anything that I wanted here. It was kind of low rent stuff. But we'll be here all weekend. We'll be talking baseball. We'll be talking basketball for the next few months, hopefully, and then we'll be seasonal once basketball is over. We'll probably strictly talk about the Dodgers, but then the draft will be there with the NBA, and then of course free agency. So technically, won't really stop talking basketball. But football's coming up in a few weeks here during the draft, so we're gonna have some shows here. I'll try to follow LFB so that you guys can follow through right after that, kind of like the late night shows, as I said on LFB. Again, if you haven't liked, subscribed, and shared, please do so. The more heads you have here, the bigger the show gets, and the bigger the show gets, the more entertaining and the more value I can bring to the show. So with that, I want to thank everyone for being here again this morning, this afternoon, and this evening. And until next time, I will see you next time.